to K&C Taxidermy. We are kicking off our summer series with the red stag. If you remember, we did the oryx, and we did that step-by-step process. So we're not necessarily going to do the talking walkthrough like we did with the oryx, so you always have those videos to go back and reference. But we are going to, have footage of the process of the fleshing and stuff like that. So we're going to do the step by step so you can still follow along. It won't be as much of a tutorial, I guess you could say. Again, we are starting off with the fleshing. We've neutralized it and gotten it out of tan, and I'm going to be turning this guy inside out and fleshing it on my wheel. I do believe this, a little background on this red stag, I believe it originated, if I remember correctly, from New Zealand, but was shipped over here to the States and harvested here. But at one of the exotic lodges. But I think it originated from New Zealand. But we're excited to get started on this guy and see it finished. And it's going to be a beaut. So make sure you subscribe to our page and follow along so you don't miss a thing, because it's going to be a cool mount. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy turned out and fleshed. Alright guys, we were back on the fleshing wheel. If you joined us for our live feed last night, we explained how we had a little bit of technical difficulty. We had to do some tuning. The first part, we were trying to get it fleshing. We tried to start this yesterday, but we ran into a snag and just had to take a break and get our wheel tuned up and adjusted. And that's what all these little knobbies on your tuning wheel's for. And my guard had shifted, so it wasn't getting the grab and stuff that it needed to. So we got that fixed yesterday, took it all apart, got it a good cleaning, and I'm back to work today. Lindsay's putting me back to work. So as you can see, I'm working on getting this red stag fleshed out. And I just wanted to take a minute and say something about, because these are things you're going to be paying attention to. There's fleshing, and then there's like thinning your cape. So I've just now basically just started doing a basic fleshing, just getting it cleaned up all over, and then in places that I need to go back and thin, usually where you take your measurements. If I try it on my form, if it's tight around the neck or something, I can put it back on the fleshing wheel and thin it out some more and give it some more room. But these areas, I always, when I have it on the fleshing wheel, I go ahead and I go ahead and start thinning. Where I'm going to be sewing. Your Y incision, I'm already going ahead and getting, especially these bigger animals that have thicker hides, I'm going ahead and getting them, so I'm not fighting that needle, bending up needles. A lot of people make that mistake, and their needles look like inchworms because they are really fighting to get that. And we did that in school too. So it's a common mistake, but if you get good on and you take the preventative measures and just really thin it out so it's good and manageable. Also, I'm taking note of where my antler base, my burrs, are going to be located. And on this big red stag, you can tell he has a lot of trash on the base of his burr. And I got it sitting right here so I can see it. Lindsay's going to hand it to me so I can show you. You see all these? He's got a lot of trash down here on his burr. So I'm making mental note of how that puzzle's going to fit back together. You can see the notches, like this big gnarly knot right here. I'm already making mental notes of how that's going to fit back together, and I want to make sure I thin that out real well and don't mess that up so that that puzzle fits back together nice and neatly, and it looks good when I mount it. So I'm making notes of what is on the burr because I don't want to be like, because I did not do this Y incision. So I'm also trying to find out what belongs and what doesn't. Because sometimes it looks like, oh, there's extra skin or trash left on there. Whoever taped it out did a messy job, but sometimes that stuff belongs. You're going to want to inspect and, like I said, put that puzzle back together. So don't just take it for granted that sometimes the antler, the burrs and everything are messy. So, like I said, this one's got a big old knot because I thought it was a pop hole on the cape. Maybe somebody was sloppy with their knife, but it's not. Upon further inspection, there is trash down here that I'm going to want to make sure I put this back together correctly. So these are things I'm going to want to pay attention to when I am mounting, and make sure I keep all those pieces attached so that it looks the best it can and the customer will be happy. As you can see, there are big things going on here at K&C Taxidermy, so make sure you subscribe so you can get notifications on everything that's going on here at K&C Taxidermy. We'll see you then.